In 20 years, the United States could be generating $10 trillion per year by renting, developing, or financing the assets in that strategic Bitcoin reserve. The AIs are coming. The AIs don't get bank accounts. They don't get credit cards. The AIs, the artificial intelligence economy, will be built on digital capital, digital property. It'll be a $100 trillion economy. It'll be built on Bitcoin.
MicroStrategy co-founder and executive chairman Michael Saylor recently hinted at major developments in a social media post that has already amassed nearly 60,000 likes. As one of Bitcoin's most vocal advocates, Saylor led MicroStrategy's Bitcoin acquisition strategy, using corporate cash and even issuing debt to hedge against inflation and fiat devaluation. His latest post suggests several bullish Bitcoin-related initiatives, including his collaboration with the Trump administration and Senator Cynthia Lummis to drive Bitcoin adoption in the U.S. On March 7, 2025, Saylor attended the White House Crypto Summit, hosted by President Donald Trump, where discussions centered on establishing a national strategic Bitcoin reserve and positioning the U.S. as a global leader in cryptocurrency. In addition, Senator Lummis has reintroduced the Bitcoin Act, a proposal that aligns with Saylor's vision of integrating Bitcoin into national financial policies. Meanwhile, MicroStrategy is making another bold move, planning to raise $21 billion through a new stock offering, as revealed in an SEC filing. The company intends to issue Class A strike preferred stock, a financial instrument designed to provide greater capital flexibility, supporting MicroStrategy's ambitious 2121 roadmap, which aims to invest $42 billion into Bitcoin over time. Despite ongoing market volatility and economic uncertainties, Saylor remains committed to Bitcoin's long-term potential. His unwavering belief in Bitcoin as the ultimate store of value continues to drive his strategy. Stay tuned as we bring you exclusive clips from his recent keynote address, delivered at a Bitcoin Policy Institute conference, where he spoke alongside members of Congress, policymakers, and industry leaders. Before we continue with the rest of the video, do check out Daily 5-Minute Crypto Newsletter with all the latest crypto and Bitcoin news. It's a fantastic analysis of on-chain crypto data and breakdowns, and the best part is it's absolutely free. They'll cover expert predictions, breakdowns of on-chain crypto data, and any breaking news you need to know, all in a nutshell. Click the first link in the description and enter your email to join over 50,000 others in becoming a better crypto investor right now.
President, with his vision, has established a strategic Bitcoin reserve as of last week and has declared that America will be the Bitcoin superpower. That is prescient. I would hazard to guess that the great majority of the people that saw that post don't even know what Bitcoin superpower means, and they haven't really considered it. I was inspired by the words, and that caused me to put together this presentation today. Why is Bitcoin critical to the prosperity of the United States in the 21st century? That is the question we all should be asking. There are many metaphors for thinking about a strategic reserve of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is digital capital. If we thought of it as Bitcoin as digital capital, is this a stockpile of cheese? Is this a stockpile of oil, natural gas, or even uranium, all of which would be interesting? Well, at its worst case, in its narrowest form, you could think about the strategic Bitcoin reserve as a stockpile of the apex asset of the human race. And so what's it worth? Well, over the next 20 years, I think it's worth anywhere from $3 trillion to $106 trillion to the United States. U.S. corporations, like my corporation, are actually recapitalizing on Bitcoin. We've gone from having $250 million of assets 48 months ago to having nearly $45 billion of assets in 48 months. If you look out over the next 20 years, corporations that are accumulating Bitcoin on their reserve, like MSTR, like Mara, like Riot, they're going to have $20 to $40 trillion. So this is a small metaphor, but it's a powerful metaphor. But, you know, it's hard to rent out or finance or develop your cheese or your gold or your natural gas buried in a vault. So a more powerful metaphor is Bitcoin is digital property. If you own 5% of Manhattan and your family had owned it for 100 years and someone said, how are you going to pay your bills? You wouldn't say, we're just going to sell it. You would say, we're going to rent it. We're going to develop it. We're going to put a building on top of it, a business on top of it, or we're going to finance it. We're going to borrow against it. The same is true with Bitcoin. In 20 years, the United States could be generating $10 trillion per year by renting, developing, or financing the assets in that strategic Bitcoin reserve. The AIs are coming. The AIs don't get bank accounts. They don't get credit cards. The AIs, the artificial intelligence economy, will be built on digital capital, digital property. It'll be a $100 trillion economy. It'll be built on Bitcoin. Well, a lot of people, they think of it as an asset. You think of it as a property, but what we know to be true is that Bitcoin is actually a network, and it's not just any network. It's not an information network. It's an energy network. It's a conservative network. I can send $1 billion from me to you. I lose it. You have it. That is the conservation of energy in cyberspace. So when you start to visualize Bitcoin as a digital energy network, what you realize is that trillions of dollars of digital commerce will flow over that network. The banking system of the world is going to rebuild itself on a digital energy network. We're going to have 40,000 banks that will be settling with each other in real time, finally, moving billions, tens of billions, or hundreds of billions of dollars an hour over a pure digital network. Right? So if you look at the world and imagine digital energy moving around the world, and then you ask the question, would you want to own it or would you want to ignore it?
Michael Saylor has put forth a bold vision for integrating Bitcoin into the U.S. financial system, proposing the creation of a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Speaking at the White House Digital Assets Summit, Saylor argued that treating Bitcoin as a national financial asset could unlock substantial economic benefits for the U.S. Treasury. He emphasized that by accumulating and holding Bitcoin as part of its reserves, the U.S. could hedge against inflation, strengthen financial sovereignty, enhance liquidity, and generate significant long-term wealth. His proposal positions the U.S. at the forefront of digital asset innovation, ensuring dominance in the global financial system. In a section of his presentation, later shared on social media, Saylor outlined 4 key ways Bitcoin could transform the U.S. economy over the next decade. First, as a digital token, it could expand U.S. companies' capital base by $10 trillion, helping dominate global products and services. Second, as a digital security, it could grow U.S. securities by $2 trillion, establishing leadership in stock, bond, and derivatives market. Third, as a digital currency, it could expand U.S. treasuries by $10 trillion, reinforcing dominance in banking, credit, and currency market. Lastly, as a digital commodity, Bitcoin could increase long-term U.S. capital assets by $2 trillion, boosting wealth for American households and corporations. Saylor's strategic Bitcoin reserve proposal lays out an ambitious plan for the U.S. to acquire 5% to 25% of the Bitcoin network through consistent daily purchases between 2025 and 2035, when 99% of all Bitcoin will have been issued. He estimates that by 2045, the SBR could generate $6 to $81 trillion in wealth for the U.S. Treasury, offering a viable path to offset the national debt. His mantra? Never sell your Bitcoin. By that time, the reserve could be generating over $10 trillion annually, serving as a perpetual source of prosperity for generations to come. During his keynote address, Saylor revealed even more impressive numbers on Bitcoin's growing adoption. Stay tuned for highlights from his speech.
Driving the growth of Bitcoin. It is the most powerful force in the world right now. It's growing nearly 60%. It's become the 8th largest asset in the world. It's about to become the largest asset in the world in the next 48 months. What is it? It's all of the smart money in the world running from risk, running from the past toward the future, from something less secure to something more secure. And they're doing it in the most visible way with their capital. This is a map of the wealth distribution in the world, about $900 trillion. If you break it into uses, half of it is just a store of value. We're long-term, we're preserving our capital for the long term. We just want to keep our money. The other half are assets held for utility. I want to do something with the asset. If you drill into the 450 trillion, you realize the problem is that long-term capital is being dissipated and decimated by fires, by floods, by famines, by tariffs, by wars, by competition, by rust, by obsolescence, by torts, by traffic, you name it, right? What's that cost? That costs $10 trillion a year. There's people go, well, what is Bitcoin's use case? The use case is to not suffer $10 trillion a year of damage from entropy, from inflation, from chaos, from the future. Bitcoin's an asset without the financial risk of a currency, a bond, a stock, and it doesn't have the physical risk of real estate and property. And we're stripping away the counterparty risk to everything. And so we're moving away from risk, and what that means is that as the word spreads that there's an opportunity to keep your money without taking risk, long-term capital is being merged into the Bitcoin network. The greatest digital transformation of the 21st century, it isn't the transformation of music, it isn't the transformation of your photos, your communications, your Facebook friends, or educational videos, although each of those things made $1 trillion company. The greatest digital transformation is the transformation of capital. So it's the transformation of 450 trillion. What's it worth? It's worth half of everything. It's half of everything. That's the transformation. Digital capital is stronger, faster, and smarter capital. It's everything you don't like about the building stripped away, and you've got an invisible, indestructible, immortal, teleportable building. It's a better building. It's global capital. It's everybody that's living in Asia and Africa and South America would move to the U.S. if they could. They'd move their money to the U.S. if they could. They want the currency of the U.S. They want the property of the U.S. They want the security of the U.S. They want the values of the U.S. But they can't have it. So the second best thing they can have is move their money into the Bitcoin network, which has all of the values, protections, and securities of the U.S. Bitcoin is immortal capital, right? You can keep your money for 1,000 years. A 10 basis point fee works out to a useful lifetime of 1,000 years. All the other long-term capital assets have a life of 10 to 100 years. Find a business you want to invest in that'll be around for 500 years. Find a building that will last for 500 years. Find a bond that will pay off in 500 years. Find a piece of art that'll still be legible in 500 years.
Despite the current market turbulence and extreme volatility, big things are on the horizon for Bitcoin and the broader crypto market in 2025 and beyond. Firstly, we have yet to fully experience the impact of the 2024 Bitcoin halving event. Historically, Bitcoin tends to see a bull run 6 to 18 months after a halving, meaning the market could potentially keep rising until October 2025. Additionally, BlackRock and other spot Bitcoin ETFs continue to see massive inflows from institutional investors and sovereign wealth funds, signaling strong long-term confidence. On top of that, President Trump's pro-Bitcoin and crypto stance adds fuel to the fire. The U.S. president is actively working toward making the U.S. a Bitcoin superpower, which could further solidify Bitcoin's position in global finance. These, along with other positive factors, suggest that the current volatility will eventually subside, paving the way for Bitcoin to reach new all-time highs in 2025 and beyond. Do you agree with this outlook? Feel free to share your thoughts, comments, and observations in the comments section below.